Welcome to the 20th episode of the Out on Loan podcast. As always, I'm your host, Jeff Canova, joined by the big three in Kieran Keneally, Isaac Hausen, and the show's opened up with Arteta just showing out, just in that awkward failed position while Isaac Hausen was trying to fix his camera or whatever the hell he was doing. But we got a few things to talk about here. Obviously, United, big win. I know a lot of the boys are happy here, especially me. I saw half of the game while I was on the road, which is not good, but I can't miss a hate watch like that ever again. I can't miss that. Even if I'm driving, I have to watch something like that. I know Richo's not in there right now, but I'm assuming that we're gonna get him in here soon. If not, it'll just be a big three episode. But um, yeah, also Super Bowl or football Sunday as well. I know we got some few games here and there, so it's been a pretty chaotic weekend for sports. But I think obviously the better sport here was the soccer because we got the United winning
Excuse me.
3-2 against Arsenal with a game winner from a player that, you know what, Kieran, I know you know this. I remember we've had this conversation. I believe it was, when was this conversation? We had it. I remember.
It was like in April. It was back
It
in
was
April.
like in April. I
Yeah.
don't know if it was a phone call or it was a text. I don't remember what it was, but I remember telling you. I was like, dude, this Cunha signing, man, like, I think he's a good player. I rate him, but I'm like, how much was he? 60, 70 for a player
Yeah.
like that?
No way you just did that joke.
Like, oh, come on. That joke is dead. Come on. That joke is dead like Arsenal's, like, defense today. It's dead. Come on. Stop that. But we had these conversations, and I remember we had this little, like, not debate, but a little argument. We're like, yeah, but I mean, you got 67 for a player like that quality. And then for me, I was like, well, he's not a big name player. Like, I haven't seen enough from him to really merit that, that price tag and that move to United, especially going from Wolves. But then you see how Wolves have been so bad this year. And then you just see the performances that Mateus Cunha has been putting in. I think consistently these last 3 months, I would say, last 3 to 2 months, even with Amarim. And then, of course, today he caps off like this amazing run of form with a game winner against Arsenal and a beautiful outside of the box finish, man. I mean, Doc, you know where I was? I was in the car. I was, I think, on Sunset. I was trying to get to the bank to deposit some cash because I'm making that bank, and I'm going in. I'm about to green light, right? Some guy passes me through, and I just see Cunha go, pop, puts it in, bottom right corner, pass Raya, and I just see the best thing about football, the United fan base in the away section just goes crazy up and down, and I'm going crazy too because I'm hate watching, like I'm hate watching because I want to see Arsenal humble for a little bit, and just I think the people thought I was like road raging or whatever the hell because they saw me just jumping up and down while I was trying to go in the green light. But man, dog, where were you, man? Where were you?
I was in my living room. I was still slumped in my recliner because like 2 minutes before that, we conceded the equalizer. So I was kind of like down in the dumps. I was still a bit sad that we like threw away another lead. I thought Arsenal were going to beat us and come from behind, but no. Literally like a minute or two after we conceded that goal, Cunha scored that third goal, and I was like in genuine disbelief. I just couldn't believe how fast we scored that goal. And I thought about calling you out, Jeff, on my Instagram story, because I remember like that argument in April. You said something like, "Oh, congrats, you signed a player from Wolves. What a big signing that is."
Right.
I was gonna say like not bad for a player from Wolves at Jeff Canova or something like that.
Honestly, you
But
should have, and you should have tagged
I
the
sh-
Outlaw podcast. Which reminds me,
I
please
should
follow
have.
the Outlaw
Yeah.
podcast and Robin Stone Pictures as well. I forgot to mention that at the beginning of the show, but please shout out to Robin Stone Pictures and please follow us on our social medias. But you should have, man, because dude, that was a
Yeah.
rocket, man.
It was. I mean, I don't know. I didn't want to do too much trash talking because I don't want to get like too carried away with the win, but I kind of want to enjoy like the other aspects of it, like Dorgu's goal, for instance. I just want to enjoy the whole win and not trash talk. But yeah, Cunha, I was thinking about it today, and like obviously last year we had Alejandro Garnacho, who's now gone to Chelsea, and Garnacho was a very like hot and cold kind of streaky player, also kind of unprofessional. I mean, when he wasn't playing for us, when he was on the bench, he would be seen sulking. He was like posting on social media, even criticizing Amram in the press. And then you just look at Cunha on the other hand, these past two games on the bench versus City, on the bench versus Arsenal, comes off both games positive, professional, and gets a goal contribution in each game to help us win. And like that's just like the level that Cunha is and like how much of an upgrade he is over Garnacho. So that was kind of like just a very grateful that we have a player like Cunha because he is just levels above what we used to have, you know. And but also not just Cunha, but Patrick Dorgu scored an amazing goal. That second goal he scored was like Ballon Dorgu. This is his new nickname, not Patrick Dorgu. Ballon Dorgu.
What's his
It's
new
his new name.
nickname?
Ballon Dorgu, like Ballon d'Or, Ballon Dorgu.
Oh my god.
That's his new nickname. It has to be. I mean,
Yeah.
if you saw that goal, it was like I don't remember like the City game where it's like Cunha, Bruno, Cunha, Bruno. It was like Bruno Dorgu, and then Dorgu just like smashes it far down to score the second goal. That was an incredible goal as well. I mean, I never expected Dorgu to do that. I didn't think none of us really thought he was capable of that. And it's also credit to him because like a couple months ago, he was getting a lot of criticism. He wasn't playing too well. A lot of fans questioned why we signed him. We didn't know if he was going to make it through the whole season, but like Cunha, he was also very professional, kept his head down, worked hard, trained, and now he's solidified himself into the team probably as a left winger. That looks to be his best position. And he's gotten, I think, 3 goals in 6 games, along with like I think 2 assists. He's playing really, really well. That's a big credit to him. I mean, the whole team. It wasn't like a City performance. Like we weren't amazing today. I'll be honest with you. Arsenal were probably the more dominant team, but it was just we were clinical. We had 3 big chances and just 3 goals, and it's
Right.
a nice change because so many other games this season it's been the opposite, where we dominate, where we have so many chances we just waste and spurn. But it was the opposite today. We defended well. We were compact. Didn't really give up anything besides like an own goal and a cheap corner kick goal, which, I mean, that's Arsenal are always going to score like that. And to like just be clinical in front of goal and really punish Arsenal like that, it was just a great team performance, a really really good win. And I mean, they're giving me more hope. Like, don't give me hope, but like they're giving me more hope. It looks like
Right.
we have a good chance of getting top 4.
Yeah, dude, I completely agree. I think what I've come to really appreciate that the theme of this episode is going to be labeled literally interim managers earning their stay question mark because the decisions that they've been making these last and I think the main two that I think Twitter has been going off of, I don't know if you've seen the memes right now, but it's like I believe the Ronaldo memes were like the Ronaldo free kicks. It's like Arbeloa and Michael Carrick's like run as interim managers, and they've been making I guess their teams has been playing really well, and they have been. But we'll go back to Michael Carrick because I think what I've liked that he's done is, and this is why interim managers are important in certain situations, right? They give that calmness. It's like, okay, we have a new voice, we have a new leader. We don't have to worry about this thing. It's fresh energy, positive new vibes. It's new juju, pretty much, like new stuff, And I think that's the freedom that United have been given in these last. I mean, you saw in the Patrick, was it Borgu, Ballongor,
Ballon d'Orgu. Ballon
Ballondorgu,
d'Orgu, yeah.
Ballondorgu. I
Yeah.
mean, you see the combinations. You saw it in that one play that famously got popular on TikTok with the sound with the Bruno Cunha. It's just there's a lot of freedom. There's a lot of 1-2s. There's a lot of confidence in the way they're playing, and I think that's part that we have to give credit to the manager. Because the manager gives you that freedom. It's a voice. I've come to realize a lot now is managers just need to find a way in which they can get you not only going tactically, but I think emotionally as well. And that's what we're seeing from both of these interim managers. Now, time will tell whether they can get it tactically because emotions get you all the way through certain situations. But tactically is where I want to see this succeed. But for now, you're figuring out, okay, maybe Dorgo is a left winger. Cunha, he's getting the confidence in there to get a goal. And I think the other thing is being effective and clinical. When was the last time I remember Aricha was saying all throughout earlier this year was we're not efficient, we're not clinical, we're not putting away our chances. And now I'm saying that you got dominated by Arsenal, which is expected because Arsenal is like one of the best teams in the world. They're going to dominate you, they're going to press you, they're going to contain possession of the ball. They have all those midfielders. They have that defense as well, which are not going to give you space or anything to do anything freely through the attacks or encounters or whatever they want to do. But you're going to be efficient. You have to be clinical in those certain spots, and that's what they did. And I give props, I think, to Michael Carrick because he gives that that freedom to be like, okay, I can take this shot. Okay, I don't have to worry about what everyone else is gonna say, what Ten Hag might say, what Amarin what's gonna say, what Mourinho's gonna say. So it's like, you get that freedom, and I'm kind of happy that they're figuring that out. Is like, okay, we're gonna have pieces in there. Isaac, I don't know if you wanted to chip in that.
No, yeah, I mean, you bring up an interesting point I wanted to go back to about these interim managers bringing up like a sort of the emotion that they play with, or the emotions that you want sort of a manager to pull out of their players. I think I'm more interested by when we talk about the Madrid situation, which I'm sure will come up later. And I'd be interested to hear from your perspective because you'll obviously know more about Arbeloa and what he's sort of been getting out of those players. But I find it interesting kind of coming off of what we talked about last week, or at least one of the past episodes with the firing Xabi Alonso and seemingly what he was trying to do and sort of the emotions that he was trying to get out of that team and a lot of those players and sort of maybe the reaction from that and maybe the intensity and the adjustment from the Madrid players to sort of the new mentality that Xavi brought in. And now with Arbeloa coming in, which I've seen people describe him way more as a player coach, takes a lot of the flag, takes a lot of responsibility for the players, doesn't like to put a lot of blame on them, which I think we've seen the benefits and you've obviously Madrid's been reaping the rewards of it very recently. But it is also very funny when we're to talk about that, when like I'm much more of that Xabi Alonso style where they're the manager, they are in charge, but it's like they're trying to set forth sort of a system and sort of a way you want to play and those emotions that they want to bring up, whether it be changing that level of intensity and so forth. But then to also like have to go through that whole firing process and then bring in an intern where you're just trying to find which essentially they're just trying to do what the last manager is, just in a completely different. It's a weird, I don't know. It's really funny when we're talking about emotions that the managers are trying to bring out when you're also just going to fire a manager for that exact same reason. You just didn't like the emotions that he was bringing up out of those players. So which side are we drawing here? I don't know. It's a very interesting decision about managers and how we keep that.
Yeah. Plus, with I don't know, look at like Amram, for instance. He must be sitting on the couch wherever he is, wondering like, where was that when I was the coach?
Exactly.
Like, why aren't you that clinical with me? Like, there's also that element of, well, why didn't they do this before earlier in the season? I think that's a fair question as well.
And sometimes that comes out as like an indication of the coach. I think the NFL comparison is then you've seen the Kellen Mond situation going on with Mike Zimmer, formerly of Minnesota. He was one of their, I think he's a third round pick, by all standards an NFL bust, but came out after the fact about how Zimmer sort of never coached him, never really had any conversations with him. The GM never really talked, really left on an island, was never really taught or conditioned in any sort of way, acclimated. And that was a bigger issue with Minnesota. A lot of the players, veterans, would talk about how the coach just didn't really care about them and was kind of just from what they've described, sort of an asshole, very strict and very stern. So it is also just very funny. We're like, yeah, when that poor play happens or when you have that change and you see that switch in a week. No, I'm not saying Amarin, I'm not saying Xabi Alonso in this situation we're bad managers, but it is, yes, it's exactly that switch. It's only a week later. They didn't learn how to score goals like a week after Amarin was fired. That's not how that works.
Right.
But what even is that like? What are those little small switches? It's almost like it makes you wish you had that documentary about your team every single year because you want to see those behind the scenes that we don't get to see. We only get to see really what's put out on the pitch or what the social media admins decide to put out, but what's going on behind the scenes that like even if is it the little conversations they're having with players? Is it more of an individual training? Are they trying to highlight certain things on a certain player's game to get them ready for the next match? I don't know. It's very interesting.
I think with United, it's probably more like playing players in their natural position. Like Dorgu is more of a left winger than a wing back. Diogo Dalot is more of a right back than a wing back. And like most of the squad cannot play a 3-4-3. Most of them just don't seem to have like the physical capabilities. So if you play the best players in their best positions, naturally you just get the best out of them. I think that's like an easy fix or an easy answer. But definitely is an interesting point. Like there definitely is some sort of like switch that's flicked, right? Even like last year, I remember Erik ten Hag was sacked. Ruud van Nistelrooy came in, and the next game we won 5-2 against Leicester City. It's like, how did you guys just score 5 goals like that in one game?
Like is it complacency?
It's a weird thing.
What are those managers telling you that you feel so safe that you can perform so poorly that all of a sudden when they're fired, you have to like, oh my God, I got fire lights under your ass. Like if I don't switch how up I'm playing, I'm gone in a couple weeks or I'm gone in a few months. It's like, really? It's all it should take. I think there should be a little bit more pride from the players in that aspect of like, that is your manager, especially the ones like where he brings you in and brings you into a United, brings you into a Madrid. Like they gave you that opportunity and to kind of like, to seemingly throw it away for just the new manager for in this situation, Carrick for coming in. I don't know. And then, where's the question of the fact that Carrick's been able to get this out of the players so quickly and you've been able to see this turnaround? Granted, it's only been a few matches. Then you have to have that conversation of what does it look like next year? And you have the opposite of the Sean McDermott, Mike Tomlin approach for this NFL free agency where they're seeming taking a year off. They don't like the coaching vacancies. They want to see what opens up next year, maybe get a better opportunity. I feel like the club's now in a position of we're kind of waiting for who do you really want? If you're looking at it like you could get rid of Carrick, try to find some real long-term of solution, but who's out there? Does Xabi want to come in right away? I don't think Xabi wants to just go right into another huge project. I think he should probably take a step down in quotation marks, but just, I don't know, not take a top 6, top 10 job in the world and just get a little bit more experience underneath your belt. Is it better? Yeah, even if it's Carrick for another year or two before the next big name comes available, I mean, that you might be able to have some great success with that.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think it really comes down to, I think it's just the players as well. I think we're just in the social media era now where I think anything wrong said to you, like any wrong thing that might tick you off, that might get you unconfident or angry or frustrated, that's really just gonna play a factor into your. I think I've said this many times about soccer. It's a confidence thing. So when you're in this era now where you're just seeing a lot about the news and a lot about what's being said about you, what is said about the manager, what is said about you as a player, as a person, as well, that just kind of messes you up. So anything that a coach might be saying to you might reflect on what social media is saying to you, what the GMs are saying, what the press is saying against you. So that can probably play a factor too. I don't know. It's just very interesting to see how much like we're diving into player managers being so important now for these younger players, I would say, and their development as well.
It almost makes me question this is sports in general. There's no way this could have ever happened. But like when there's this sort of evolution of the player coach that we've seen arise in the NBA, in soccer, in football, whatever sport you want to name, it almost seems like there should have been this bridging or like creation of like two different positions. You still have your coach, you have your tactician, you have your sort of leader in that sense. And then, you have your player coach manager. Now, some teams do that. You have your assistant coaches do that, or your second in command will be more that. But so many of these teams are soccer where I think you get guys that are trying to do both or are so narrow focused in being one that they can't succeed at being the other.
Right.
But it is also funny that like for the players, I know we can't change the way they work. They're making the millions and it's their mentality. It doesn't really matter for us. But like, I understand. And there's always ways like it can get a step too far. A coach can just be blatantly rude, can be insulting. It can always just be more insulting than they are.
Yeah. You heard Antonio Conte. You heard that thing with Diego Costa just shitting on his former coach. Have you heard that?
Yeah, exactly.
Despise them. And it's like, whoa, like it's.
But at the end of the day,
there's also time period. It depends on the players that you have. Because if you have winners, it makes sense. Like you heard the rumors about how, Rafa Benitez, when he came at Madrid, he was a man. He was a tactician. He was like, I want this. I want this. I want to show you. I mean, there was the infamous news that apparently he tried to teach Ronaldo how to take free kicks. So it was like you're gonna tick off a player like that because it's like, dude. I've won a Champions League. I'm one of the greatest ever free kick takers. What do you mean you're going to teach me how to take? Like, no. So then it's like your egos are just like kind of ticked off right there. But I mean, I guess from there it makes sense. Like, what are you doing as a manager trying to tell Ronaldo what to do? That's Cristiano Ronaldo. Like, I'm sorry, you're not even as close to what a player that he was even at that time. Like, I'm sorry, you're just not. And I get it's manager, but you have to have the decency and everything. So maybe it's stuff like that. So.
I just still, I mean, it's Ronaldo, so we know how fragile that ego is, but like, shots there. But like, really, man, like, it always, again, I'm not there. I don't know how that conversation was started. Maybe he came in more aggressive in that story, but like, you can't just even, like, not even humor your coach and just let him try to coach and teach you. Maybe there's a certain way he hits it that you don't know. I mean, who knows how long, I don't know how long ago that story is now. I don't know. It's just like, seems like that type of stuff where it's really petty from athletes to hold that, especially when they're already kind of given more access and given a lot more of that. I understand from perspective, their lives are in the spotlight and there's a lot of mean things on social media that are said about. I'm sure there's mean things we're going to say about players in the future and have already said about players. So I know it can even become hypocritical coming from us. But there's always those steps can be taken too far. But that doesn't mean they can be absolved of all criticism.
No, go
ahead.
Ken, yeah, you finish.
No. I was sort of finishing. I don't want to.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say it's probably like an eras thing too. Like Mourinho did so well in like the 2000s with Chelsea because they just had winners. They had the players like the Lampards, the Terrys, the Peter Cechs. They had the mentality to win. Whereas like you look at Mourinho at like Tottenham, for instance, it just didn't mesh well at all. He couldn't stand Tottenham, the mentality. He didn't like some of the players. He called them out. Like clearly Mourinho's a great coach. We all know that. Sometimes it's just a clash of players and coach that they just don't get along from the get-go. And that's why it blows up sometimes.
I agree with that. And I'll add on to this point why I think there's sometimes where I think for these managers, right, that have been failing and succeeding, right, I think it's really going to come down to a combination as to what it's all about identity and what the roster is. Because you can be a manager like Carlo Ancelotti, right? You're kind, you're soft, you're gonna hug your players when they're going through the rough times. But guess what? He succeeded because especially during those times, was because he had leaders. He had a Kroos, he had a Modric, he had a Benzema during that time. Kind of like, okay, I'm gonna mentor you too, but I'm also gonna get you a kick up the ass. Like, okay, like let's play. So it's also stuff like that. If you have a play, like I think that's what United lacked. I think when you had like a man manager like Oli, I don't think you guys had that many leaders. I mean, Pogba, sure, but like not like a Roy Keane that will be like, okay, Oli, we know, calm me down, but okay, we have a Roy Keane that's gonna get you up the ass, because you also don't want to like baby these players and be like, oh, it's okay, everything's like. Sometimes there's gonna be games where you need to be motivated. Like you're gonna have to be motivated against the Wolves. You're gonna need to have that experience against going to Milan and having that fiery chip to not be intimidated by the moment or by the aura of the stadium or by the taunting of the fans in Italy. Like this is the type of thing. So it all comes down to who you have in your personnel. What type of manager do you have? Okay, if he's a strict manager, then you need to have leaders around him. You have a whole team of full leaders that can listen to him. If you don't, then you need to have a man manager with the soft egos, but then you also have a player in there inside the locker room that can actually tell him like, hey, let's lock in. Like, let's do this. Like we have to do what the manager says. And then these are the type of moments. I think it all comes down to who's in the roster that can help out the manager or the type of players as well.
I would say it's important that you talk about the roster there as well. Like a last point I want to bring up, I think where soccer can sort of suffer compared to like the American sports we're used to watching is the ability for roster turnover, or at least like stereotypically how it goes for soccer. I mean, MLB, NHL, NFL, like trades and all that stuff, how popularized that sort of Americanized is as well. But even just the ability to release and the money involved of how much roster turnover is when regimes change for franchises. And I even know the Sabres right now with changing GMs, there's already conversations about, okay, what players are not going to be on the team next year? Who are this previous regime's guys that are just not going to exist? They haven't been playing well, or you want to get replacements in. But I think sometimes we get so cluttered with, especially these wealthy teams, these United, these Arsenals, these Chelseas, when they've gone through these moments of these low periods, it's because they had so much of that leftover like blob or fat that they need to trim. That's just really hard, whether it be finances, players not wanting to leave, or sometimes even coaches just not wanting to get rid of a lot of players. We talked about it. You even hinted at it with Amorim, with sort of the 3-4-3, some players just not being able to adapt to that. Again, it's not easier said than done, but then I think there needs to be more of that. Like, you just need to get rid of a lot more players that can't get that and try to bring in more players that can. Again, way easier said than done, but I just wish there were ways where we can properly get managers the full teams or full systems that they want. Not saying right away. I know it'll always take a year or two,
right?
But that's when you're forced to like, I look at it like when you're doing like it's those kid games where you got to like stick the right shape blocks like in the hole to get it through, and it's you're just you're jamming that like triangle square in the square hole. You just can't get to go through, and it's just not going to work over and over again. It feels like that sometimes with the rosters that these managers have had to deal with.
Yeah, I think United is a perfect example of that, because they try to cram in Amarin during the time which United fans desperately want something new to win, especially when you just got rid of a few players here and there, and for the fact that you haven't been winning for the last few years as well. With the like, you cram that in there, and then for Madrid, it's the same thing. You bring in a manager like Xabi Alonso, who's clearly a tactician, but then you also want to be a man manager for these players. So it's like, well, what do you want? Because you can't have both. Because Xabi has to be strict to give his instructions. Amarin wants this player, but you know that he doesn't have the left back that he needs. So now he's resorting to playing these type of players because that's the only system he knows or plays. So it's like,
I think that's the thing about modern football. I remember Amram said it last year, where it's easier to get rid of one coach than it is to get rid of 11 players. Like, that's the sad reality of like Madrid. It's tough to rebuild, and they chose to get rid of Xabi Alonso. United, we could have gotten rid of some players, but we decided to can Amram. Like, more often than not, these clubs, they side with their players, not the coaches, because it's so easy to get rid of one guy instead of a whole roster. I think that's part of it as well.
And I think there's also fear. I think, again, to the benefit, I'm going to sound very American here, but this is where like relegation goes against that. I think with American sports where you don't have that risk, you can just tank. You're telling me through all these tough United years, if there was no relegation, if you could have just stayed in the Prem, you maybe wouldn't have had 1 year where you said, okay, we just have to be terrible. We need to gut this from top to bottom, let players leave on a free, have a whole year of getting rid of people, bring in like a real interim manager and just suck for a year. Maybe we're 18th and then boom, built next year. But you can't do that because then you're in the championship. So then you can't just fire your manager and get rid of 10 players, or else then you're going to have like you bring up all these academy players, and then you're terrible, and then you're a joke, and then maybe you get two. It doesn't work like that. And I'd rather it not work like that. I'd rather have a relegation and promotion and all that creates that sort of sense of competition. But yeah, that's the world we live in, where, like you said, it's going to be easier to get rid of the coach than 11 to 12 players in that situation.
Right, and before I'll end this off before we get on to our next segment, which will be a little bit more what the Premier League table is looking like. I think also the reason you're right, Kieran, that's Emmeren's spot on when he said it's the players. Because if you think about it this way, right, what brings in the money? It's the jersey sales. Mm-hmm. So if you have a player that's on form like Cunha right now, I guarantee you there's a United fan right now that might want to get a Cunha shirt right now. But do you think they'll get an Ameren? Is Ameren going to be selling jerseys?
He's right here. The fan's right here, Jeff.
Right, sorry. But you know what I mean? Like, if you get the players are what's going to get you the money. The players are what's going to get people on their seats eventually. Now, if you have a roster full of players that you just don't want to see, then then that's a problem. But at the end of the day, you're going to have talented players that are going to turn up, and you're going to be watching for that reason. So it's easier to get those jerseys sold, and then getting rid of them. I don't know.
He was a legend, but you're telling me people didn't go to see United just because they wanted to see Sir Alex? They didn't go watch Madrid or go see Madrid because they didn't want them.
There's exceptions to that.
There's exceptions.
But again, a great manager like that will always have great players. And I'm sorry, like, are you going to go watch Lionel Messi or are you going to go watch Pep Guardiola? I think the majority of people say I'm going to go watch Lionel Messi because the players are the things that you want to go watch and see play. Not the manager.
Maybe you want to see the system. Maybe you want to see some beautiful football. You know what I mean? Something like that.
Congrats for you, man. But I think the majority of us are gonna be like, dude, I'm gonna go. Like, come on, man. Do you think I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna go to Peru and I'm gonna watch Santiago something try to coach this team when I have a legend in Cuevas trying to take free? Like, come on, I'm not gonna watch that. Like, come on, dude. It's Messi. Like, you literally have to say the name. It's the player. So
I don't know, Jeff. I think I'd rather watch Rafa Benitez than Cristiano Ronaldo. That might be a hot take. I don't know.
I can't even watch Cristiano Ronaldo in my own home country. So,
and I think that's where I'm gonna go on to our next segment, which is obviously please follow Stone Pictures as always. Shout out to our Batman, no longer a Robin, Batman Stone. Thank you for producing and editing our shows on YouTube, Spotify, TikTok, Instagram, everything, all the fun stuff that you do. Thank you, Robin. Shout out to him. Please follow at Stone Pictures as well. But going back to the big three, Premier League table looking interesting right now because I literally thought before the United game, I was like, oh yeah, Arsenal might probably favorites to win, get the 3 points. City dropped points last weekend, but I know they won a big game yesterday. So we'll see if they'll start something. But Arsenal, man, only top 4 points. Not looking good, bruv. Not looking good because this is the one thing we said about Arsenal in the last 4 to 3 years that Arteta's been at the helm of this team trying to compete and get that title that they haven't won in the last 20 years is during January and February and sometimes March where it just goes downhill. I don't want to jinx it. I don't want to think that this is the start of it because the City team is not as strong as the other City teams from the past. And there's not a Liverpool team that is just relentless as they used to as well because there's no one in there. I know. I'm trying to get him in there while I'm trying to finish my point, but we'll get him in there. But it's just looking dangerous right now for them, man, because City's still in there, and it's like, can it happen? But I'm not too sure. We'll have to wait and see. But
I'll jinx it. I think this is where they
before we
need to shut up, Arsenal fans.
Yeah,
I'm kind of tired of
it. Yo.
You're targeting.
Continue. Go ahead. Talk.
He came on at halftime, guys. It's a halftime sub right here.
He's our super sub right here.
Hey, appreciate y'all. Yo. I'm just gonna say I just had an amazing day, and like I was playing in the snow and everything in New York, and I don't know. I was just watching. I was just watching the highlights of the game and just like reminiscing the bottling job yet again by Arsenal, and I kind of like just fell asleep with all those good thoughts, and here I am though. We here. I'm pretty sure you guys have already like said what I wanted to say anyways. So let's just like continue. Let's go.
All right, let's go.
I was just saying
Isaac, I
this
know.
is no, but this is where like Arsenal fans like I just would wish they would just have shut up on social media for the past few months because we need to remind them it's not over till it's over. Like you just said
Right.
20 years ago. I keep hearing how many times after they beat us about how this is one of the greatest Arsenal teams we've ever seen. This is one of the best teams we've seen in the 2020s. Like if it's a 4-point gap between arguably you just said the worst City team you've seen in a while. Congratulations. Like it took until what? You cut off one of City's legs till you started competing with them. Like it's like literally like you're in a race with them and it's until they got literally both of them chopped off like Saw style and then you're finally able to keep up with them. Like it's I'm tired of it. You know what I mean? Champions League hasn't even really been decided. Congratulations, you qualified first. You could also be the first to get knocked out of the quarterfinal. Like, you know what I mean? Like just shut up. Please.
Yeah.
Season's not over yet. I'm tired of it. When you win, start winning your trophies, then I'll listen to you. And like I said, this whole rant for me is invalidated. If you win the league, if you win the Champions League, I'll shut up. I'll take it. This was a great team. This was an amazing Arsenal team. It's not over yet. You just proved it's not over yet.
I'm going to add on to this point. I completely agree with you because I am so sick and tired. Why do everyone do this? I hate when we do, and this is, again, the modern era, and that's okay. I get it. But, dude, we got to stop doing this stupid shit where we grab a team, right, that's performing really well. I love what Arsenal have been doing these last few years. They've been back to being the dominant team that they were during the 2000s, during the 80s, 90s, whatever they were doing, right? They're a great, solid team. There's some potential great players in there like Saka, like Rice, like Saliba, like Gabriel, right? It's a good team. Arteta's a good manager. Why do we always do this where we're comparing them to the past team of winners? These are winners. Why are we comparing them to the 08 Man United team? Why? Why are we doing this?
You know, another thing, it's like forget 08 Man United, 08 Chelsea. Yeah, good luck with that team too. Because that team almost got us like this close. They were a John Terry slip away from also like winning Champions League and like basically being in the history books of like one of the greatest teams
of all time. Yeah.
I mean, they couldn't even beat 26 United, let alone 2008.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
I'm so happy because you know what it is, man? You know what it is? I'm figuring this out. See, I'm figuring this out. It's these fan bases, right? It's these possession, tiki-taka, beautiful football fan bases that are doing this. They're the most obnoxious fan base I've ever seen in this whole planet, man. I swear to God, they have this privilege of thinking that they own the damn world. They think they own football. Like, you hear Arsenal fans talk about how, like, well, Arsene Wenger reinvented the Premier League. So we have this plus 20 aura where we match up against a manager like Sir Alex who won 13 Premier League titles, even though we've won like probably 2 or 3. So like we changed the game, and then Barca fans are the same way. We don't have 15 Champions League, but we play tiki-taka possession-based football, and we have the most elegant players in the world, and we deserve the right to be in these conversations where we play the most beautiful football in the world. How about you shut your damn mouths up and win some titles? How about that? How about you go win? Just because you play beautiful doesn't mean you own the damn sport. Congrats. We celebrate that. It's beautiful. We take ideas from that. But for God's sake, man, please, until you win because the main thing about sports is it's winning. So when you win a title, you can talk your ish. Talk it. See, Barca fans beat us a lot last year. I was, that's fair, bro. You beat us. You played really well. You won. You dominated. You were effective when you had to. But y'all were talking so much about how this team was going to win a treble, and then what happened at the end of the year? You got knocked out by Inter because you couldn't hold out. Same thing with Arsenal fans back in, I think, their second year where they started running. They were like, oh, yes, this Arsenal team is different, blah, blah, blah. We're competing with the Liverpool team. Then what happened? They fell off a cliff again because they don't have this. It's this, man. This.
That Barca team
it's starting to creep in again because every single time we get near January, near February, and I don't even want to know what February is going to look like for every team out there. But it's February time where I'm like, looking, what are you going to do? What's the mentality? Now, I will say, I think this year will be different. We'll make that prediction. I think this year will be different. But it's just these little crumbles and kind of fortunate thing where it's like, yeah, the Premier League is kind of weak. Like, it's not a great Man City team, not the ones from the year past. There's no Liverpool. Chelsea team is inconsistent. Man United, but I know they did win. But it's like, again, they've had a poor stretch of years now. So it's like they don't even have anything to compete for. So you're the only ones. So I'm waiting to see what they do. But if they blow this, You will not hear the end from me, especially after what they did to us in the Champions League last year, and you will not hear the end from these two United fans too, and the Bayern fan too, because I know they were talking a lot of smack during that Bayern loss, during that Bayern win. So
yeah, but two things. It's funny you mentioned that Barca team. You remind me of like one of the worst like things I think I saw a Barca fan ever say was they were talking about that last game or that Champions League game against Inter last year, and they were talking about like how Jan Sommer prevented like the most beautiful Champions League final from like ever happening. Shut up! You didn't win the fucking game. If you didn't win the fucking game, you can't play in the fucking final. Like it's not that fucking hard.
It's not that
a few
hard.
more goals past them. Seriously, like that pissed me. Just no,
it's the privilege because I figured out it's these teams that play these possession-based, perfect style of football. They think that it's the right way. This is the only way. You can't play football another style. You can't play counterattack. You can't play high pressing. You can't play low block, sit deep. You can't. You have to. It's everything is written for them, which is why I can't stand these two fan bases. Them looks obnoxious. With Madrid fans too, because Madrid fans are just corny and cringy. I can admit that. But because they're the most spoiled brats, that's fine. But these two, it's like, bro, like what are you talking about? The storyline. What are you talking about? Your team is so possession based that we compete with 08 United and we've won so many points because we play the right style of football. Get the hell out of here, man. Go win a Premier League title before you start yapping about 08 United.
And that 08 United.
All the shocking is like it's funny because like United. We're in a banter era, I'll call it. We've been bad for like 13 years since Sir Alex Ferguson retired. But in that time period, we've still won more trophies than Arsenal in their golden age. It's like there's levels to this. Like most teams in the world would probably kill to have what United had, which is like 4 to 5 trophies. I know it's not a lot, but it's more than some teams have had.
It's
in like
a standard. It's a standard.
Yeah. And it's like also with Arsenal, like no offense, you guys have spent like almost 900 million in 6 years, and you have to rely on like set pieces and own goals.
Like do it. That's
you can't say you play beautiful when you do that. Like their 2 goals today were like very like I know our goals were a little lucky, but their 2 goals they scored today was an own goal and a cheap like set piece goal. Like they can't trash talk that much. I don't know.
Yeah. And Karen, don't call our goals lucky, bro. Like
okay,
that was
lucky,
beautiful.
Like, also our first goal was like a little bit like. Yeah,
because we worked hard to put pressure on them. Exactly.
No. I heard Zubamendi is like this beautiful Spanish footballer that likes to control the tempo, likes to do all these things. I guarantee you, if that was a Kobe Mainu, if that was another, I'm not going to mention race, but I might have to because if that was another player, I'm telling you right now, they would have been got flamed on social media. But Zubamendi is this little beautiful Spanish possession.
He's a better Scrabble answer than he is a midfielder.
Right, and it's like it's mistakes like that where I'm like, dude, are you serious? Like, this is the type of things I get to see from these teams that talk so much smack. I'm like, really? Okay.
I was literally gonna say, just like compare the 3 goals we scored and the 2 goals they scored, and it's like, my lord, like all of that, like I don't know, phase 7, phase 20, 100, whatever. Arteta, this is the final product. This is the one that you're gonna use to try and compete against the likes of like Bayern, Real Madrid, Barca, whatever, to win Champions League, and which I know you've already like beat them, but again, in games where it really still doesn't like fully matter, because I just know one more freaking time when you get to that Champions League quarterfinal or semifinal, you're gonna pull one more bottle job, and you're probably gonna do that again in Prem if you are not strong and confident enough and like playing like positively. It's just gonna go downhill again, and the fans. I mean, talk about the fans. Like straight up after we scored the 3rd goal, they started leaving. Even though there was 3 more minutes left in regulation and another 7 minutes. That's like an eternity to score a 3rd and maybe even a 4th. But even they're starting to lose faith in you. So
this is in America. I don't want to hear about the traffic you have getting back. That's BS.
Most of them take the trains too. Like you don't have to wait.
Seriously,
you got AFTV interviews after as well, so you have to
take the tubes in it. Come on now.
No. They have AFTV interviews planned as well, so you have to stay over and be with them as well. So I don't know what you're leaving for. What you're waiting for? They're waiting for the AFTV band interviews and all that stuff today, John. On Talk Sport on all those channels too.
It's the boy who cried wolf situation. Until you are literally getting eaten by the wolf in front of me, I'm not going to believe that you can win a trophy. Until I see you lifting it up with your 2 hands, I believe it.
I'm not even funny. They have 50 points, and Man City are with 46. And what's crazy is this elite defense, right? Only Man City has conceded like 4, and they've conceded like 17. That defense is starting to slip up too. I know they haven't been as compact as they were from the prior 2 seasons, or even at the beginning of the year. At the beginning of the year, they were compact, they were closing, but this year, I don't know, man. They've been a little bit shaky now. They've been a little bit shaky. So I want to say from this panel, I want to believe that they will actually win it because I just don't see the other teams being strong. I don't see this Man City team just being consistent because Haaland's been off form. Foden's been just disappearing like his brother and Cole Palmer, just disappearing as usual. And then Shirky just been like the only spark really, but like again, he's not a goal scorer. Haaland's been poor. Their defense has always been whack, and so I just don't see the City team being up there. And like I said earlier, the other teams are just not as good as well. But I want to believe that they will push over the horizon and finally get the prem. But I mean, because
do you want to believe that?
Teams, but like that's the theory. That's the theory because they
like the British taking the White House in the War of 1812. Like we're rooting for this. Like this is what we want.
I'm not rooting for it, but I'm just saying this is what should realistically happen. But like I said, God forbid that happens because you won't hear the end of me for the amount of players, and one of them is Martin Odegaard. Dude, I've said about this guy. This guy, man, Martin Odegaard. I don't rate him. I never rated Martin Odegaard. I don't know why he's their captain. He's not a captain. He's not that good of a creative player. Physically gets shot every game. He's not a difference maker. He's a stat pattern against small teams. I'm so happy Madrid got rid of him.
He just had one good season. That's what it really is. Like one really good season.
One good season, and then they thought he was like the next coming of
And it was
Jesus.
still worse than Bruno's worst season too. His best season isn't compared to Bruno's worst season.
Yeah,
I think
and it's like people still like compare that to you're right. There is something about that fan base where it's like the second they do just a little good, they just need to compare. Which makes me wonder. It's like
you know why? It's
you guys are small club mentality. Like, what is this? Genuinely, like, shut the hell up and win games. My goodness.
I hate the fact that you compare it to I'm like, dude, I hate that even we know what these media companies are doing with that, but like the fact that you even have to have some shame for any of these companies that are comparing these teams. Have some shame with yourself. Don't ever do that again. Please don't. We can debate maybe player for player, sure, but don't compare what team will get in because those are proven winners. Why would I want to swap out players for a team that won a title? Why would I do that? Why? Why do I want to switch? Why would I want to switch out Vinny for Ronaldo in 2016 when I knew that team was going up against specific defenders and defenses compared to this era? Like, why would I do that? Why? I've never found that interesting. Sure, player to player, compare it, sure, but like, what team or who gets swapped out? Get the hell out of here,
man. You really want some?
I don't know.
I was gonna say you really want some Saka versus 08 Ronaldo comparison, like. Really?
Get the hell out of here, man. You're even better than that.
Saka's not even better than Ryan Cherky right now, and I'll say that confidently.
Oh no, Saka's
what is he sitting on 4 goals in this in this Premier League year? Like, what are we talking about with Saka now? Like, I'm sorry, I don't.
It's his PR. That's what carries him. I think it's been some media bias with him.
I saw an Arsenal fan taking him over Elise the other day, and I had to actually look into his pocket to see if he had a crack pipe in there as well. Like, I don't know what the thing these Arsenal fans it's delusional. It's like it's like you're sipping the Kool-Aid. I don't know what is it like Jonestown out in Arsenal FC? I don't know what's going on right there. I don't know what they got their fan base doing.
That's why I'm so mad we lost to them last year. We could have. I wouldn't mind losing to Inter. We're gonna get smacked up by Bayern, or would have got beaten by Barca. Even because you know, man, they have elite players. Like what? We lost to that Arsenal team, man. I'm just so mad we lost to them. So salty about that.
And I'm gonna raise it a little more. There's an Arsenal fan out there listening to this right now that's like, oh, they're just jealous. You know what I mean? That's the Bayern fan. They beat us here. No, they cannot genuinely grasp that almost everyone in the fucking footballing world fucking hates them and is sick as sick.
See, I hate Barca, but I respect them. I respect them so much because I'm like, dude, they have good players, they have a good system, they have a good coach. I hate them too, but it's like, it's a hateful respect because I'm like, you know, they're the arch nemesis. They kicked our ass so many times. But you know what? I give them the right to talk their shit whenever they beat us in the Clasico or whenever they get us a title. Because I'm like, dude, they've done it so many times. They have the right. They're winners. They've won it. Their team, their history, they've won that thing. And history's proven. Now, if we're talking about Champions League, that's where I get into the stigma with Barca fans, why I can't stand them. It's like I can't make that argument, you know, like, fair enough. But if they beat on us, it's because they won, you know. But these Arsenal fans, I don't know, man. I don't know what happens. I don't know why they do this. I don't know why, but you know, Pretty
Maybe we just need to get another like Arsenal fan like in this panel. Or
I am.
something.
I have a friend in mind who I might
Oh,
have
Looking
a
for a
friend in
trophy,
mind.
like Manti Te'o
We,
looking
we've
for a
had
girlfriend.
we've had history before. Not like bad history. We've
okay.
had a discussion. We've had an interesting. So I might have to bring him on, man. I might have to bring him on if they win or they lose the Premier League.
Do I know this Arsenal fan, Jeff?
You
Yeah,
probably
do we know him?
Yeah, you do.
Did he
I'm
go to
gonna
our
reveal-
school, Jeff?
Yes, he did.
You wouldn't know her, but she goes to another school.
I think I know you're talking about then, Jeff.
Yeah, you know. But we won't reveal names in
No, we're gonna dox your full government and name and home
No,
address right
we
on
won't
the
reveal,
bar.
but-
And social security. You can't forget
I might
social
have to-
security
I might
too.
have to-
Get the 3 little numbers in the back of your credit card.
Maybe even the driver's license number as well. Who knows?
Mhm.
I might have to get it. But to kind of close off this one segment where we're just, I think the segment was just ramble about how much we hate Arsenal, which is fair enough. Because I mean,
It's just
I don't know.
therapy.
Man. It is therapy because I can't stand them. But still, if we look at the standings, 50 points, City in second with 46. Aston Villa even now there too with 4 behind them with 4 points.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you. Like Aston Villa also has as much of a chance to win as much as like City.
Man United are right in there too with 38.
And,
And then
yeah, you never
Chelsea,
know. Hey, Carrick ball, baby. I'm a believer. I'm
Oh,
a
how great
believer.
if they won the league this year.
Yeah.
they win
Yeah,
the
What
league.
can we get you to do if United win the league? What can we get you to do
Holy Lord.
this year?
Dude, I have no idea. I mean, that's
I
like
got
it's so
no-
far fetched. I can't even like process it in my mind right now.
Bro, I think the
mean-
odds are like bigger than Leicester. Holy Lord. Winning it in 2016. I'll be honest. I think it's like bigger than a 5,000 to 1 odds. Like,
12
if we were
point
to
swing,
somehow win.
lads. I think you can do it.
You
I
think
mean,
Make
so?
Arsenal lose
if
the
we get
next 2
if we
games,
get
then
this
we're
run
on.
going, like you never know how. Like Ole had like a great 3 months in charge when he was the interim manager, and we were like really good. But I don't
Drop
know.
2 games. Arsenal,
Mm.
Man United to drop 2 games, just lose 2 games, or drop points here and there. And then United win like their next 5. Dude, you guys are in it.
Yeah,
Because you'll
it's
be
not
like
gonna
by
happen.
6 points.
Watch us tie to. I'm predicting it's gonna be like a 1-1 draw against Fulham next week for us. I
Yeah,
guarantee
that's
you
what I'm
it's
thinking
gonna
too.
be.
Like,
Come on,
that's what I'm
Arsenal's
saying.
I don't
I
know
can't even
predictions.
That screams upset.
What's up?
Arsenal's playing Leeds, I think, in their next match. Come on, you're telling me you can't see a Brendan Aronson, like goal and assist type game. You know what I mean? The American.
But those
It's
are the games
possible.
Arsenal usually win, though. That's the problem. They win those games, and then they draw against City.
They
or
win those
Liverpool.
games at the beginning.
Well, they did
They
tie
win
against
those
Nottingham
games.
Forest.
Mhm.
That's
that,
true.
yeah.
That's a good point.
No.
Yeah.
No. This is the Arsenal choke job that they usually do. They win those games at the beginning of the year. They're dominant in those games. But then they start near November, December, where their form goes a little bit questionable. Then December they go up again, and then by the end of January, and then by the time of February, they lose and drop points because their offense hasn't been that efficient, and then their defense is starting to crumble. A little Rice injury here and there. Champions League games start to ramp up, so now they have to play more games where more injuries are at play, more fatigue, more player, the need for the players resting and stuff like that. And they lose or drop points here and there. I don't know. It's in the art, man, where they can just drop points. I don't know.
Yeah, I also want to say like 3 years ago, the season where City ended up winning the treble, Arsenal were up by like 9 points ahead of City. And the downfall, I still remember, the downfall started when they tied 3-3 to last place Southampton. So,
Saka missed a penalty against West Ham. I remember
and
that.
that was a February game, early February
Yeah.
or mid-February game. So I'm just saying.
I'm telling you,
Can happen.
They can't blame injuries either. Like Saliba hasn't been injured, Gabriel hasn't been injured. They can't blame that this year.
Saka's been in it. They have they have the striker too. So what is it now? What is it?
They have the depth. They have everything for them.
They have the manager.
They're just not good. They're overrated. They've relied on Haram Ball's tactics. That's what it is?
Oh man, we're just hating ours. I think we're gonna move on to the next segment because we're just.
Yeah, let's go.
Watch,
Let's
we're gonna go on
talk about
crazy
something
watch.
else.
This will not age well if Arsenal win
Dude,
the league.
this will
After
not.
Yeah,
this
this,
is
we
said.
need to delete this
This-
episode.
Yeah, you might have to delete
Oh
this
my
video
god,
next
they're
time.
gonna win the treble. Watch after this episode, they're just gonna win the treble, and we're gonna be like,
Win the quadruple even,
Like that United loss is just the thing that triggered their first time winning the treble. And God, they win the treble, we
Don't
might not
say it,
record an
Jeff.
episode.
Don't say it.
I don't know. That's my fear, man. If they win that damn thing, man, oh god, I don't think we'll hear the end of it for like the next 5 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40. Oh god. But just to go on to our next segment. But as always, please follow the Out Alone Podcast on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok as well. Please follow us on all of our accounts. Support us, whatever we need. Give us your takes, whatever it may be. Shit on us as always. You know when.
Okay, don't do that.
Okay.
Oh my god! I did
That's
it
a weird
again!
thing to ask
I
for.
did it again! I did it again! I did it again!
Speak
I
for
told
yourself,
just like
Jeff,
Arsenal, they're gonna do it
but-
again. I did it again. Where I tell my
Do
fan
not
base,
call me
please-
Odell Beckham Jr.
Odell Beckham Jr.
No one get that one. No one ever saw that
understood
stuff.
I understand that reference. I do.
Retreat, you don't get that one. There
No,
was
I
that
don't.
rumor that it was in like some OnlyFans or some model said that OBJ paid for her to take a dump on his chest.
Ah,
He's apparently
interesting.
into that.
I
Quote,
thought you
I
were
read it on
talking
the
about
internet.
I thought you were talking about like the one-handed catch or something. I was like, where's this?
No,
going?
that man's catching something else.
Anyways, you know what else? Well, you know what Arbeloa's catching? Catching W's, man. That's what he's catching.
Are you doing a sit? What was
Yeah.
that?
That was great, Jeff.
No, I think he was
Like
trying
that.
to do some 6'7".
Right? You
No.
What are you juggling over there?
Nothing. Juggling some W's for Arbeloa because Real Madrid. Good results these last two games. Very happy. Very happy. 6-1 win against Monaco.
Monaco, dude, that was
Dominant.
Vinny back, Mbappe back.
Then- Happy for that, I think, Champions League performance. Not only because Vinny was just amazing that game, obviously. Scored a goal. Broke a lot of records here and there. I think he's like our top assister in the Champions League for Real Madrid. Sure. I think he also passed Ronaldo Nazario as the most Brazilian with the most goals for Real Madrid as well. In the Champions League as well, so that was really impressive for him. Mbappe, 2 goals. And just the way we played as well, I think we were very, what's the right word for it? Very euphoric after that win. And I think it's just for the way we pressed, the way we just suffocated the living life out of Monaco in certain points throughout that game. And then we continue that great run of form with the very respectable 2-0 win going away at Villarreal, where going away to Villarreal in the last, I would say, 9 to 10 years, it's always just been a struggle. Based on our form, you could look at the stats. I think we've only won twice. And of course, the last two being these last two, the one from last season where Mbappe scored those 2 goals. And again, Mbappe scoring 2 goals at Villarreal as well. Kind of like Michael Carrick. Should he sign the thing? Should he stay for another year? We'll have to wait and see. I'm still hesitant on giving that contract because, like I said, it's really going to come down to how we close off the year, how a lot of players perform at the end of the year. Mainly Vinny. I think mainly Vinny, and a few of our defenders here and there, like Hoysen, Kamavinga. We're just going to have to wait and see how they perform to really just analyze how whether that sacking was the right decision, and whether Arbeloa is the guy that can take us forward. Because one thing I've said is, can he get this locker room back, and can he get us back to winning again? Just winning, just finding out ways to win here and there, in these tough grounds, and getting our players back to form. But I think what I have to mention is, I'm just like kind of like what we stated earlier. I'm just so disappointed with these players, man. Where was this a few games ago? Where was this pressing, running around, tracking back, scoring, wanting to fight for the badge? Where was this? And it was funny because that same day that Madrid destroyed Monaco, right? We posted the video with me calling out the players, to be like, yo, like why the thing that happened to Xavi was just ridiculous. It was insane. It was unfair. It's unprofessional. And then literally the comment under like the first ones was like, oh, they're winning right now. Where I'm like, that's beautiful, but can you do that till the end of the year? And we have to wait and see whether that happens because we still have a lot of tough games going on. And I don't know. I'm just disappointed with the players. I really would have wanted this with Xavi. Like why? Like, damn, like we could have maybe been in the Barca with this energy, with that midfield play. We could have probably dismantled an Atletico back in November if we played better like that. We probably would have destroyed I forgot the team that beat us 2-0 at home when we were going through that horrible stretch. But we could have beaten them just so that we would have been at least undefeated in the league. And we get that, we get this. I don't know. It's just frustrating to see them turning up, and we'll have to wait and see how they end up, because I'm not moved by it just yet. I'm happy we've won and there's players picking up form, but how will we deal against a Bayern? How will we deal against a Arsenal, a Barca, even in the Champions League, even again against Atletico when we play them at home? How will that look like? And then when we play Barca in the league as well, because we got to win all of our last 3 games as well. So I don't know. It's just very frustrating. It's very frustrating to see that, and for a manager like Chubby, who I think had so much potential. And I don't know. What are you guys?
Yeah, it's interesting because I think I don't know, you buy into, like, we talk about social media a lot and the effect that it has on the game, and I think it's another way you can get bought into maybe what was now you're thinking about it, maybe the Xabi Alonso hype, which in retrospect, no, I don't say that to say he's a bad manager or I think he will be a bad manager or will stay a bad manager, however you want to say. I think I said it earlier, I think there just probably needs to be more learning of sort of what that role takes. I think it's just you only get better at it by doing it. I think maybe he should have stayed longer at Leverkusen in a perfect world, just to get your feet wet a little bit more, maybe having what it's like to have more sustained European success, or maybe going to even a club another step up and challenging yourself before you go to Madrid. But maybe simply just wasn't good enough at the time is sort of my thoughts, sadly. Again, I think we talked about a lot, or you mentioned the sort of the split and sort of what he was asking of players, and there's a little bit of a schism. So if that played into it, sadly, it is what it is. There's nothing we could do or the media can do in talking about it or change anyone's minds. It's the players. Those are, as we've already said in this episode, they're always going to come first. But I don't know. It's just weird. It's again, is he just not as great as we thought he was? That's what I'm also starting to be in now, because you're also seeing such a quick turnaround. It's as simple as that. How I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm starting to think as well. That's what a lot of Madrid fans are saying. Was Xabi even that good? Was he actually I don't want to use the word, but was he an asshole to these guys as well? Was he really that mean where he couldn't get to these players? Was he actually motivating them in some way? Did he get the right thing? And maybe there's truth into that. Maybe for a player like Vinny, maybe you have to do whatever it has to take to get him going, get him motivated. So maybe being harsh on him is not the right way to go. Maybe you do have to kind of baby him and just be like, hey, you have to do this and that. I'm more so thinking in the fact that tactically what we that's a manager that you can't just let go of that easily. You think you don't think Xabi Alonso doesn't have the tactical intelligence to figure things out? You don't I refuse to believe that. I refuse to believe that.
Oh no, 100%.
Because you see how his teams in Bayer Leverkusen were pressing, and you see the way Madrid are pressing. Do you actually think that Arbeloa is a better manager or tactician to figure out his post position? There's no way. I don't want to believe. I refuse to believe that. I refuse to believe that.
You're not rumored with all those top jobs if you don't have some ability to back it up.
Exactly.
I mean, you're also
that's his best trait. He's one of the smartest people, he's one of the, as a player, he's a midfielder, CDM, IQ, everything like that. And then as a manager, he's done it. He's found out ways to get his players to press in here and there. But why couldn't he do that with Madrid? And I think that's why I'm frustrated. It's I think the players just couldn't handle the way he is as a man manager. Mm-hmm. And I'll give props for Arbeloa in that way, that he's found out the way, I guess, for these players to press, more specifically the way we're Gergen pressing in a way in which we're moving from here and there, and the counter press has been happening. I think the pressing has been the one thing I've been amazed by. But what if that doesn't work? What if we get broken by here and there? So now we have to rely on individual brilliance once again, which is what we didn't want. I didn't want that again. I didn't want to have to rely on a player just solely for him to beat his man 1, 2, 3 times or amazing goal from outside. I want a team to press and then win the ball back and create triangles and offenses and movements and versatility, which I guess I'm seeing that a bit with Mbappe and Vinny these last few games, because you'll see Mbappe playing on the right and then Vinny on the left, or Vinny will be in the middle, which I'm happy I'm seeing that. But you don't think Xabi Alonso didn't want that for his team? And if that's the case, we'll find it out sooner rather than later. But if that's the case, it's man, bro, it will be frustrating. It's gonna be frustrating.
Also, it makes it weird that you went with Madrid too, for how you described it, especially with how that stern sort of, I don't know, maybe you're berating your players, maybe you're whatever. you look at just the teams he's played for in his career. You have Liverpool, you have Madrid, and you have Bayern, which were some of the teams that he was like rumored with that cycle. Liverpool, nothing you could have done, especially with Slot in that season. You were never going to like step in and get that job. Like that was just the way the time works. I know, obviously, with the way companies worked out, like obviously, I'd rather us have made that decision, but that really like mentally tough mentality. Doing whatever you can to like earn a result, being more stricter on your players. Doesn't that sound more like Bundesliga style, more German football, more of like Bayern mentality than maybe necessarily like a Madrid mentality or like those players have? No, part of it, times change. I'm sure when Xavi was at Madrid, that was how those players thought. That was the Madrid mentality at the time because you guys were so successful and you were winning. Not that you haven't been recently, but things have changed. New players have come in, new mentalities, and just as players get younger, they act differently. There's always a difference between the ages and the eras. But it's one of those where I don't. In his mind, is he thinking like, man, maybe I just didn't make the right decision too. Maybe not even so much of a ready for Madrid at that time. I'm just like, maybe I'm just not. Maybe that fit. The reason you had all that success in the Bundesliga is maybe that was just a better fit for where you were at right now in your career.
Yeah. That's why I really wish. Oh, go ahead, Kieran. Go ahead.
It's like, I don't know, it's like what they say, like right person, wrong time. Like Alonso could go on and become an elite manager anywhere in the world, and maybe Madrid do regret sacking him at that particular time. But maybe right now he wasn't what they needed. I don't know. We'll see. Like, I wouldn't be like, let's say in a year's time, Arbeloa is still the manager of Madrid, but they lose to like Barcelona in like a cup final. I could see Madrid fans saying we need to sack him, get like a tactical manager in, and now you're back to square one. I feel like I've seen that with Madrid before. But also, like when you said like Alonso, it's like he played for Madrid. Like surely he would know what it's like on the inside to be
That's
at
what
Madrid.
I'm saying too.
He should know what passes and what doesn't pass. Like I feel like maybe he was a bit too naive with what he walked into.
Exactly. That's what I'm so like frustrated for the whole thing because I'm like, you as a manager should have known this. Like you have to like figure this out. Like I remember everyone was criticizing Arbeloa, and including myself. I was like, dude, why is he glazing all these players? Like, and obviously it's the emotions. We just lost in the Copa del Rey. Our manager just got sacked. We're back to square one. All the ideas and the illusions of having like a dominant coach for like the next 5 years to get us playing the right, like not the right way, but like in a set structure, just so we don't have to rely on individual brilliance and we have to find a new identity, just so we don't get dominated by some teams as like an Arsenal or Bayern. Like we just got rid of that, so we were tired of hearing Arbeloa just kind of like baby Vinny and be like, dude, like yes, he's gonna win him, this and that, and people criticize him, including myself. But then you see how Vinny's been playing these last, I would say two games. It's like, well, maybe that's the way you have to do it because that's just who he is as a person. It's like whether we like it or not, that's the way a coach has to. That's what he has to do. He has to like be the manager. Just grab him by the side, and just be like, "Yo, you're good. You're fine. Like, let's do it. I'm giving you that confidence." So, and I'm just shocked that Xabi Alonso just never figured that out, especially with the other players on the team.
I just want to say, it could also be something simple that night where they played at Bernabeu and they just got booed endlessly, where it's like, oh my goodness, like that, if that's how the fans think about us, and like especially after what we, how we did, maybe how we treated Xabi and just like, got him sacked. Like we don't want another coach to get sacked like this because of our behavior, because of us not understanding, not being on the same page. Let's actually like group together. Let's see, like work as a team, see what actually works. It doesn't matter if like Arbeloa is like not the great tactician that Xavi is, and that could have like, put even more creative outlets into it. The past is the past. Here's what matters now. We still have La Liga to play for. We still have champs to play for. And we're still a very, very talented team to do so. Let's take in that criticism and that booing that fans gave us, which obviously shook us to our core, but let's use it for positive. And I think honestly that's probably what it is. And I think they're, with Arbeloa obviously supporting the players more on the press, taking all the heat, and just like from there on giving them some sort of like a safe space to not get like just consistently attacked by the press. Maybe it like helped them to just get in the right mental space and like just play your football. And now they're playing their football and they're winning games.
I have a question for you three here. Raise your hand. I understand if you don't want to dox yourself. Have you ever lied in a job interview or lied on the resume to make yourself sound better?
I refuse to share a comment.
We're not gonna comment on that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's
Maybe not outright lie, but maybe a little exaggeration. Not on the resume, but on the job interview, because the questions can just it can just get you, and you just gotta have a response. But yeah.
Okay, that's what makes me think something. There's a little bit of lying involved in this interview process for Xavi. Maybe it was on Xavi's end, maybe it was on the Madrid board's end, because that's the other thing. Xavi is a very intelligent, just person in general, very intelligent man. I refuse to believe that he did not know what he was signing up for when taking this job. That means he either lied to the Madrid board and said he was not going to be this strict, or he went to when he was part of this. He's like, "Hey, this is how I want to instruct these players. This is how I want to manage these players. Is this okay?" And they clearly said it was okay by hiring him, and then what has happened has happened. The past is the past. But also on top of that, with Arbeloa now, there's no pressure on him. They've already gotten rid of a manager for these players. They can't really do that again. Now this blame is shifted also back onto these players. Now we're like, we have done the most we can to appease them. Now it's their turn to step up, and which they have been delivering the performances ever since it's happened.
Right. And I'll end it off with this, right? I'll say two things from this. And I agree with Kieran. I think it could be down to the timing and everything like that. The right time, right? I'm blanking.
Right person, wrong time. Like
right
La La
person,
Land, like you find the right person, but maybe not at the moment.
Right. It's not at the moment because these players are just not at their peak yet. Like they're not at their peak mentally, right? And I think for Xabi Alonso, I think the same thing. Maybe he just went in very naive, thinking like I can get these players to play a certain style when they're just not ready. But I will say this. I also say that is this the identity of Real Madrid? Will this just be their identity? Because from what I'm hearing and what I'm looking at, every team has an identity per se. Like Barca has the tiki taka, Bayern has the quick explode. Like everyone has an identity as to what they're going to be with the manager that they hire, this type of style of football that they play. At Madrid, my fear is for the next few years, I think it's just going to come down to literally individual brilliance. Like I think that's just going to have to be our style of play, our style of identity. Like we just have superstars that we just got to mash together in and just have them hope and pray that they can win a game. Either you have to sign all the best players in the world, or you have to get the best young talent and hold out for the next 5 years for them to develop. And maybe that's what it is, and maybe they won't hire a tactician who won't be so strict on them because they're signing so many players where their egos are just high and they're considered the world's best. We're like, dude, this manager can't tell me what to do because I am him. I am this player. I am this. I've won this Champions League. I've won this Premier League title. I was a highly regarded, more talented player than him. I'm smarter than him, or whatever they think they're more superior in, and they're just gonna have to get a man manager to just get in there, And I wouldn't be surprised if they potentially win the league and Arbeloa is the manager for the next few years because it's like make them happy.
Like Zidane, just like Zidane, right?
Wait, did you guys hear that? They might win the league. I thought a couple episodes ago we were talking about how the league was already over.
No, I'm just saying from the fact that
you're forgetting, Isaac. The last episode was from misery to hope, so maybe we're already on the hope.
Okay,
maybe this is part of the revival.
There might be hope.
The third act.
Maybe season is not over after all. After December or first week of January.
They bought like a revive pack.
I just wasn't expecting. No, because these players, man, I don't know. It's all coming down to whether the players can perform. It's literally it. But I seen last year, and injuries and everything like that. I don't know, but there might be hope. Maybe I don't know, but it's very unlikely. But I'm still gonna be here supporting and rooting for them. That's all I can really say about Madrid. It's like, is that our identity for now? Man managers, kiss ass, hugs, maybe put a good defensive structure just so that we don't concede that many goals. But it's like freedom. Go do whatever you want to do. Go.
So it's like watching the Lakers.
I mean, haven't Madrid been doing that sort of though? Like, wasn't Ancelotti sort of that ilk?
I think Ancelotti was sort of like that, but man, was there years where he just couldn't figure it out? He couldn't give us a structure. Like last year, like he just didn't know what was his best 11, and through that we got beat through the midfield, and defensively we were hampered a lot. But I mean, he did give confidence to Vinny and Mbappe and Rodrigo and Jude. But
I mean, gave you 2 Champions League, 2 La Liga, and then like a young core of like Vinny, Jude.
But again, it's like individual brilliance again too. Through I think Benzema's crazy year that one year in 2021, 2022. I think Jude and Vinny in 23, 24. I don't know about this year. I mean, it's gonna have to take another Vinny year to carry us, or Mbappe, or whoever decides to turn up. It's really gonna come down to who's gonna turn up. It's really gonna come down to who's gonna turn up. But I agree to it. I think it's also gonna be. They know that the pressure's on them now. There's no more excuses. There's no more. Oh, we have a poor injury here and there, or no manager. No, if you don't play well, we're gonna notice it, and I think you're going to be done. And I think that's what United are going through right now too. I think, funny enough, it's because the players also know. Okay, we got this manager fired pretty much because we were so bad. So now our effort has to go not only at 100%, but now like 105 or 110%. Same thing for Madrid. Like we got to be running up and down. That's always now for the next 3 to 4 months of the season, and we got to give at least effort because if not, if we're half-assing it and we get smoked out by a lot of teams in finals or wherever it may be, they're not going to point at the manager. They're probably not even going to point at the board, which they should, honestly. They're going to point at us because we failed, and we didn't press, and we didn't put our chances away, and we didn't track our players, and we slacked off in the last 10 minutes or 5 minutes or a minute. And we lost the final because we weren't prepared, or we were nervous, or we were too timid when we should have been ready and focused and locked in and just relieve the pressure, So it's all on the players now. I think the episode should be retitled, Players, you better turn up because your managers are doing the job. It's time for you to turn up. So we'll have to wait and see. I don't know. Any other final thoughts? I don't know, Rich. I know we were talking about Brahim's Panenka penalty a lot, and I didn't really give too much insight into it. But man, did they! Oh, I feel so bad for him, man. That was so unfair what they did to him, bro. Did you see any of course Mbappe, you asshole, man.
I don't think it was meant to be in like any bad intentions. It was more like, hey man, you missed yours, I got you, and like pointed at him and everything. It was like kind of like this was for you, right?
But it's like still like, come on, bro. Like that's against.
What, too soon? It was too soon.
That's too soon.
It was too soon. It was too soon. Yeah.
I think it's never too soon.
I don't know. I liked it. I liked it.
No, I don't even want to imagine what was going through his head. Like when he saw like the penalty being taken, it's like, oh god. Like man, and you saw some of the camera people too going up, zooming up to his face when one of the Villarreal players were getting like their prize and stuff. You just see him. I feel so bad for him, man.
So
it's like the DiCaprio meme where he's like hiding behind the camera, but he's smiling. That was like the La Liga cameraman on him.
Dude. Oh man, he must be. I hope he's gone through therapy or something, man. Because it's been rough for him, man. It's been really rough. But I mean, that's why you don't take Panenkas, man.
How about you just take a normal pen here, bro?
Or if you're gonna take a Panenka, you better put it away and be efficient with it, or read the goalkeeper at least.
Or just let your best pen taker take it instead of you.
Yeah, maybe he was the best pen taker. I don't know.
I thought it was
he was their leading scorer of the tournament, which is probably why like they trusted him with it, and that happened.
Mbappe, come on, man, don't do that again. Don't do that. Come on, man. Like, I still find that like, wow, why would you remind him of that? Like, come on, man. Like that's.
Hey Jeff, it's Emperor Mbappe. Remember, he gets to do whatever he wants.
That's
true. You can't mess with Mbappe.
You can, man. You can't, or else. Say something wrong to Mbappe and you're out the team, man.
If only had a manager that could hold them accountable for their behavior.
Yeah, and he's gone. And I might go to Liverpool. Speaking of which, they've been bumps.
Can we clip that? Clip that.
Hey, it could happen. I think it could happen.
I think it's like destined. I think, especially after their loss today. Yeah, it's destined that Xabi Alonso definitely goes to Liverpool. Definitely. I'm putting it right now. He's going to Liverpool. After this year, they're going to sack Slot. They're going to pick up poor results.
Frank. No.
That's where we're going to end it off. But we're not, and we can't. Done. You're done. But as always, thank you for tuning into the Outlaw Podcast. This was episode 20 with the boys as always. Thank you so much, everyone.